Put that date on your calendar.
What is the date again?
October 2nd. It's a Saturday. Put that date on your calendar. I know it's deer hunt season. What
time?
We don't have a time yet. Actually, the whole thing is tentative. When I was talking with some officials at the State House, they were saying, well, I don't think you can handle the crowd that big.
That's their problem.
And I said, well, that's going to be a shame. I said, I told them, I said, well, you handle the crowd at the Indy 500 or 400,000 every year. You guys do a good job. And I'm sure Governor Daniels would appreciate about 50,000 patriots coming to his doorstep to let him know our opinion. So we'll get that worked out. But that's part of the plan. Part of the plan is creating a process through interposition that will help get those votes, that will motivate people. Interposition motivates people because you're going to learn here in a few minutes why the Florida lawsuit will not work, why we're going to fail with that lawsuit. And therefore it leaves us only one true option. Along with this process of interposition, it's going to end. It won't end until the end of the legislative session of 2011, okay, when we get our resolution. But in between that time, we're going to create a process that's going to allow people to be able to know when to participate. How many people got during the federal health care issue, got an email that said you've got to send in, make a phone call right now, and they sent it in, they got a busy signal, got a fax machine that didn't work, all that. You know, that was a good effort, but it don't count. It don't count. It didn't count for anything because it failed. What we're going to do is we're going to put together an information packet, an Excel sheet, if you will. It's going to have every county listed. It's going to have every group, Liberty organization within each one of those counties. It's going to have the contacts so anybody who wants to participate in them will know. It's going to show blank counties that doesn't have anything, so all these groups here will know where to focus their energies at. Because if we had liberty-loving organizations in every community in this in the state, we would have won. We would have won, even with the fragmentation. And so that's another thing we have to do. So, along with that calendar will be a set of dates in which each county will be their time to call. So there's not a huge slug. It's not a burnout. You'll know. You'll get the emails, and it'll say, "This is your month to call your legislator, the mayor. The governor and the AG, and let them know what we want." And that way, we'll keep that steady pressure on all through the legislative session. There won't be any burnout, and so forth. So that's a plan. That's a strategy to keep it on top of everybody's list. Okay. We're also going to come out with dates and say, these are the dates you need to be writing your editorials in the paper. We're going to list every single media outlet there is. So people will know where the media outlets are, where the contacts are that they need to send that to. So the information is going to be there that's going to enable everybody to do this. Now, just because it's your month to act doesn't mean you can't act all the time. But this is a way to keep the burnout, and this is a way to keep the pressure on steadily throughout. It's like a battle. You don't throw everything into one battle if you know it's going to be a long war. You got to have a long-term strategy laid out for the entire election process. So the next phase of this is we move on to 2012. And I'll use the 8th district here as an example, and I'll also use the 8th district congressional race, and then I'll also use the Senate race in the state. 8th district had 8 candidates, okay? We had some really good patriot candidates in there, and we had a Republican Party pick, okay? The Republican Party's hand-picked candidate. We came within 2 or 3% of having a patriot, a true, strong, patriot Christian win that election. Okay? The reason we didn't win is because we had 4 good patriot candidates in there. If any one of them had stepped down and said, "I will give my votes to Christie," she would have won, and we would have taken 8th district. The same thing would have happened in the state senatorial race. So what we have to do, but here's the problem. Here's the problem, and you got to look at 2 things. You got to look at the process, and then you have to look at the human equation in this. When people work so hard and get so vested with the candidate, They can't let go. It's human nature. It's very, very difficult to let go. It's very difficult. And it probably won't happen. So what we need to do is we have to devise a process. And that process is a caucus in which the candidates that want our vote will agree to a caucus. Let's say a month before the primary elections. And with that, they will agree that if they don't win that caucus, they will step down and they will throw their support to the winner of that caucus. And we, as patriots, all agree to that process. We agree to the process, and then we can get behind that one candidate, and we will take Indiana by storm in 2012. That's the plan that I'm proposing to lay out. I'm going to ask Gary Bowser and his group to help work on that, caucus process. If they will accept it, it's going to be a challenge. But it takes somebody, and he's already proven that they can do it. They've proven it, and that's the process that I'm proposing that we roll forward with, and that's the plan that I propose we roll forward with. We can win this. We have to win. We have no choice. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Thomas. He just scratched the surface, and I'm going to let him roll again. He has to talk about the Florida election and why that is a failed case. The Florida lawsuit and why that's going to fail. Because we cannot win that. And he will explain that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a good idea to everybody know that voter registration closes 30 days before the election. You can't wait.
Okay.
You can't wait till October 7th to make sure that everybody's registered.
That's true. Yes, sir.
We started a voter registration effort before the primary. We were in a learning process, but we set up in the county 8 different locations. We had them manned, we advertised it, we went into the high schools, registered high school seniors. We didn't reach all our goals because we were learning, but we're going to do better. But you're absolutely right. You can't. All this has to be laid out in a very disciplined fashion if you're going to succeed. And so you have to know when does registration start, when does it end, and get your gang fired up and organized and out there on the streets.
You know, as to what Gary said, you have less than 5 months. 5 months from now, the election will be over. You got 5 months to do a lot of work. And you don't start, you get home today, you're not going to have enough time.
Now, 4 months you're going to register to vote. That's your developments.
Have you discussed within your group the next phase and how to get the voter to actually get out and vote?
Yes, and we also had some experience in setting up our phone bank and calling before the primary. We have been set up another initiative to call committeemen for this caucus tomorrow. We're working on a very selective canvas effort. Again, you have to be realistic of how many your resources. You can't do everything. So you target this, but it's all a matter of, as Mike said, you have to have a plan. And once you have the plan, the great thing with our group, and that's the only, I'm sure there's other groups may be great and far surpass us, I don't know about them. But we've got people, every time we had a need, somebody stood up and said, I'll do it.